Burnley versus Arsenal from yesterday. Arsenal, of course, against the Clarets, so a big opportunity really for Arsenal to gain ground on the title race, but it was also an opportunity for Burnley. If they could somehow sneak a win at the Emirates yesterday, they would go into the top half of the table. But well, I won't give too much away, because if anyone has missed it, there was a lot of talking points towards the end of the game. So let's get back to 2:10 yesterday afternoon, where we begin the commentary with the teams emerging from the tunnel at the Emirates. Enjoy the action. Well, here we are at the Emirates Stadium for this Clarets Match Delayed. Burnley know it's a tall order going to the Emirates here and maybe getting 3 points, considering the class and quality of the Arsenal side. But this is going to be a real test of their real capabilities here. Remember, they've only picked up 1 point on the road this season. That was at Old Trafford in an heroic exhibition of goalkeeping. Let's give you the Burnley side first. So Tom Heaton is in goal. Same back four as you would expect: Ward, Mee, Keane and Lawton. 4 in the midfield. Stephen Defoe playing on the left hand side with Henrik and Marley, the 2 central midfield players. George Boyd on the right, and up front Andre Gray, who's got 6 goals to his name, and Ashley Barnes has got 3 goals to his name up front. On the bench is John Flanagan, Michael Kiteley, Joey Barton, who got the winner against Southampton last week, Sam Vokes, Paul Robinson, James Tarkowski and Ten Darwika. And let's quickly run through the Arsenal 11 for you, because obviously there's obviously the Arsenal side to look to as well. There's Olivier Giroud. He's the man up top, so just bear with me a second while we run through that 11 for you. Let's look at the Arsenal 11 quickly then. In just a second or two, we'll have it all here for you in a minute. But it's a positive lineup. Sean Dyche's pick. So let's look at the Arsenal side. Checking goal, a back four of Gabriel, Mustafi, Koscielny and Monreal. 5 in midfield with Ramsey and Xhaka, the 2 holding midfielders. Alexis Sanchez, Mesut Ozil, Alex Iwobi are the 3 attacking midfielders. Olivier Giroud up front, and on the bench Ospina, Gibbs, Bellerin, Coquelin, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Danny Welbeck and Lucas. The referee is John Moss, and we're underway. We're about 14 seconds into the first half. They're the 2 lineups. John Moss is the referee, and he's got previous with Granit Xhaka, who sent him off earlier on in the season against Stoke City, so he's got previous with that particular referee as Granit Xhaka. He's also got a bit of a reputation actually for being a bit of a bad boy, certainly at his last club in Germany, as that's knocked away there by Monreal. Up towards halfway, the Emirates packed, not quite 60,000, but it's a good sizable crowd. The sun is out here at the Emirates. So Stephen Ward there. Sean Dyche, what a manager he has been for Burnley. This is his 200th game in charge, incidentally, this afternoon. And how he'd love to mark that with some kind of result at the Emirates Stadium. And Petr Cech, who's the Arsenal goalkeeper, with his obviously his rugby skull on he's worn that ever since that injury he picked up at Reading over 10 years ago now. 10 years since he picked up that horrible head injury at Reading when he was playing for Chelsea. Burnley have a free kick, foul there, and George Boyd about 10 yards inside the Arsenal half. Burnley attacking the goal to our left in the first half, and Arsenal at the clock end to the right. I nearly said Highbury as well, because they used to have a clock end at Highbury, of course, the old Highbury ground, which is about a stone's throw from where the Emirates stands right now. Free kick to Burnley, midway almost inside the Arsenal half. Stephen Defoe to take it. We're coming up to towards 2 minutes played. Defoe swings it in with his right foot towards the back post. Ben Mee is there. Mee gets the ball into the penalty area. Barnes at the back post. Ward was gambling as well. Still not away really by Arsenal, and Giroud back there only getting it half away, and then the shot back in from Henrik from about 20 yards goes just wide of the target, the far post, and it's a goal kick to Arsenal. And Arsenal like to play out from the back, like most teams do in this Premier League, but Petr Cech now knowing full well what Burnley will do, close them down, will have to take long goal kicks. As Ramsey tries to get possession, but he's lost it, and a chance here for Keane to hook that the one away for Burnley. And the foul there on Ashley Barnes. It's a free kick to the Clarets. And a lot of strikers don't have that physical presence that Ashley Barnes does offer you. He's been the subject of a £5 million rumour from Aston Villa. They're rumoured to be buying him, but I'm not sure these rumours are true or false, to be honest with you. But it's a great atmosphere. There's a wonderful verb and an atmosphere really to be there for all to see. And I think this will be a real humdinger of a game. Two sides that like to attack, and Burnley will want some revenge after that sad event earlier on in the season. Well, you may have heard on the Clarets match, we were live that day when Arsenal scored what looked like an illegal goal. And I would advise anyone listening to this stream, no comments please, because this is yesterday's stream. So 0-0. We're coming up towards 5 minutes of the first half gone. As Sanchez now cuts inside. There will be later on, once this video is uploaded to YouTube on Monday night, I will do a visual review of the events to camera and give you my outlook on it. Obviously before we leave you, we'll have a word with Sean Dyche as well after the game. As the long ball comes in, Andre Gray's just onside, but his first touch let him down. Koscielny gets it away for Arsenal. Arsenal started this first few minutes all that convincing, I have to say. It's Granit Xhaka in the middle of midfield, picks it up, plays a nice left-footed pass out there towards Iwobi. Iwobi keeps it in okay. Both benches quite strong, I have to say, both Arsenal's and Burnley's. And you think substitutions will play a key role as the game lingers on. Coming up into the 6th minute as Sanchez puts in a low cross looking for Giroud, but he couldn't get on the end of it. Sanchez will try again on this far side. Sanchez cuts in field, has got Ramsey here in a bit of support, but was quickly closed down there by the Burnley defence. Stephen Defoe now breaks away for Burnley. It was Ward who initially blocked the attempted shot there from Ramsey on the edge of the area. Long ball up there towards Barnes. Barnes might steal in against Koscielny. Barnes has got the ball, shields it, and then plays a very poor ball back towards George Boyd, and I don't think that ball was ever on. And in the end, the move breaks down, and Burnley get to win on their trebles. I feel like a Polly Parrot saying it, but 1 point on the road all season is not really a good enough return, really. But remember, we've got 26 points. 25 of the 26 points we've accumulated have come at Turf Moor. We've got a big match against Leicester next week. In a week on Tuesday, because there's an FA Cup game against Bristol City, of course, on Saturday. That's a big game for all sorts of reasons, that, I have to be honest. Still 0-0 as Xhaka now gets the ball forward. 7 minutes gone. Long ball up towards Alexis Sanchez, the Chilean international. Sanchez does well, cut inside, gets a good cross in there. Giroud with a header, and then Ward taking matters into his own hands, clearing away, although it was bound to be into Tom Heaton's path anyway, and I think he would have claimed that, the goalkeeper. But Stephen Ward wasn't prepared to take any chances, and also I've still got Burnley pinned back deep inside their own half here. And we're really giving a good early examination of the Clarets. As Xhaka now, midway inside the half, played it out to the far side. Here's the dangerous Chilean, Alexis Sanchez, who impressed in the World Cup 3 years ago. Sanchez with the shot, and it's not troubling Tom Heaton, that sort of effort. Been all sorts of talk about Sanchez and his Arsenal contract. Will he sign a new deal? There's been talk about Wenger. Will he stay beyond this season? Well, all those questions remained certainly unanswered. If Arsenal lose this game, I think a majority of Arsenal's fans will be calling for the manager's head, because they dare not lose this game, Arsenal, if you think about it logically from a neutral point of view for just a second, because if they lose this game, then I think the title race is probably too far. They may have to take the FA Cup a bit more seriously, and they were very lucky to get through against Preston North End in that. As Lawton now comes forward for Burnley down the right hand side. Barnes is the only one in the middle, but he was well marked there by two Arsenal defenders. But, Burnley not making life too difficult, too easy for Arsenal at the moment. And so far so good at the moment. I mean, if they can keep Arsenal out for as long as they possibly can, then there's every opportunity Burnley could probably sneak something on the break. Whatever the circumstances, they can't play as bad as what they did against Manchester City against 10 men in their last away match. They went 2-0 down. Some appalling defending for the first two goals, and obviously the scrambled goal from Ben Mee. But they came back off the canvas with two important victories. Not to mention, well, they were unbeaten in 3 in all competitions. A draw up at Sunderland in the original cup game, and then they took on Southampton a week later, beat them by a Joey Barton goal to 0. As that ball looks in there towards Sanchez, he goes down. I think he was half expecting a penalty, and maybe it was just an appreciation for the long ball in there from Granit Xhaka. I think it might have been the latter, to be honest. I don't think there was anything wrong with the challenge there by Lawton. He only had eyes for the ball. Sanchez did win the header, in fairness, and I think that would have been rather harsh for referee Moss to give this penalty decision if it had been one, but I don't think it would have been a penalty anyway. We're into the 10th minute of the contest. Burnley 0, Arsenal 0. Here come Arsenal now on the ball, and it's Ramsey playing it back to Pedacek. 10 minutes exactly now been played. We had this is Arsenal's, this is Burnley's, I think, 4th trip to the capital this season. They went to Chelsea, lost very, very easily 3-0. Chelsea could have had a cricket score that afternoon. And then they went to West Ham. Should have got something out of that game. Should have won the game. Well, because they'd missed a hat-trick of chances in that match. And then Tottenham, of course, they were robbed by that tackle there by Sissoko, and then went to set up the winning goal for Danny Rose, not far down the road from here. This will be a tough examination. And here's Sanchez on the break. Robbie on the break. Low crossing there. And again it favoured George Boyd. The bounce took it away on the edge of the D, and it's back on halfway with Lauren Koscielny, the man involved in that controversial winner at Turf Moor back in early October. Sanchez now takes on Lawton. Lawton plays it into the danger zone. Giroud's little flick, and I think that's gone behind for a goal kick before Monreal could hook the ball back across. And a goal kick it is. Ball just drifting out of play. Well, Burnley have done reasonably well in the opening 11.5 minutes here at the Emirates Stadium. What Arsenal have to be, or Burnley have to be wary of, that the likes of Giroud and all that lot, they've scored things like scorpion kicks and all that jazz in recent weeks. So they'll be trying one or two party pieces and tricks. So Burnley have got to just watch out and just play no-nonsense football, really, for as much as they possibly can. And if they can catch them out on the break, even the more's the better, I suppose. And here's Boyd now on the chase, far side. Boyd has got Lawton on the overlap, and he uses Lawton. Lawton inside the area, good ball in, and Barnes almost got there. And it's in the arms of Pedacek. Barnes was stretching at the near post, and he almost got there. That would have been a marvellous moment for Burnley if they had taken the lead from that position and that really would have put Arsenal's backs up then, because if anything goes against Arsenal today, if Burnley were to score the first goal, you think of that atmosphere around the Emirates when things don't go Arsenal's way. There's always a toxic atmosphere around the Emirates. We were last year on this YouTube channel on the opening day of the season when Liverpool came here and scored 4, although Arsenal did, to be fair, score 3 goals themselves, so it's not excuse me, beyond the realms of possibility. 13 minutes gone. Burnley really doing well, holding their own. Gray holds it up near side. Defoe, good little dummy there, and bought himself a little bit of time and played a good intelligent pass back in his own half over to Ben Mee. Mee knocks it long towards Barnes. Barnes tries to control midway inside the Arsenal half, but he's lost out, and here goes Alexis Sanchez on the left hand side. He'll run at Lowton and run at Lowton as if he's not there. Ball in. Henrik had used the chest. There was half an appeal there for 1 or 2 Arsenal players for a handball, but I don't think it was going to be given in a month for Sundays, to be quite honest with you. But Barnes has lost out again. Here's Ozil into the path of Ramsey, back to Iwobi, back to Ozil. Ozil lining up with his left foot and gets a good shot in, and it went through the crowd. And Tom Heaton did really well because he saw that lower late, and it didn't help his cause that Giroud was following in as well, and he got the shot in Ozil. It was curling, and I think he tried to, well, he attempted to flick it Giroud to try and put the goalkeeper off kilter, but Heaton, once he was committed to diving away to his right, stayed committed and got the ball out for a corner, which Ozil is taking very short. He's out now to Granit Xhaka. Thought he might have had the shot, but he's played it back to Ozil. Keeps it in by the far byline. Giroud is in there, so too is Koscielny. Koscielny knocking it back, and a shot that just goes wide of target from Alex Iwobi. In fact, it got a deflection, and it will be a corner kick to Arsenal. And they're starting to turn up the pressure here as we come up towards 15 minutes here gone at the Emirates Stadium. There's the shot. It must have come off defender last. It might have been Ben Mee. Corner taken short by Ozil to Iwobi. Then Ramsey chips that in, and then the header from Koscielny, who scored that controversial winner at Turf Moor. Well poked out of the air by goalkeeper Tom Heaton. And he was unmarked as well as that ball came in from the right hand side. And I think, to be fair to Koscielny, I think he ought to have done a lot better than what he did. Mustafi now to Koscielny. Koscielny now trying to get Arsenal going again. This is Granit Xhaka. They got him in the summer. As I say, comes from Borussia Mönchengladbach, and he had a bit of a notorious reputation in the Bundesliga. He'd get sent off more often than not. Here's Barnes now. Good strike from Barnes. Good effort. Just outside the penalty area, just to the right of centre, and Pedacek taking no risks, palming it away for a corner, and that's more like it from the Clarets. Ashley Barnes really testing the former Chelsea and the Czech Republic goalkeeper. He's kept the most clean sheets in Premier League history, Pedacek. Here's the corner taken by Defoe into the mixer once again. That was a real teasing corner inside the 6-yard area. In fact, the flag had gone up for a throw to Burnley, so they're going to keep the pressure up now on Arsenal. I'll tell you what, if they can get a goal here, it would like the blue touch paper around on this game, and it would turn the Arsenal fans against their side. Watching a lot of YouTube footage of the Arsenal fans and all that going on about the manager and radio phone-ins as the throw comes in. Henrik was in there but couldn't get the purchase on the ball to stab it forward, and still Arsenal at 6s and 7s at the back. And the one thing that Burnley need to do is make sure that that crowd is quieting down. It's actually quite quiet around the Emirates Stadium, but they might just get a little bit of a cheer now as Ozil now comes forward. Ozil now gets the ball in there. Chances here now for Arsenal inside the penalty area. It's Aaron Ramsey, keeping that move alive. Got a little bit carried away there. Here's Monreal down the left-hand side. Monreal's cross, looking for Ramsey, but he can't find Ramsey, and it's hooked away for an Arsenal throw midway inside the Burnley half. We're now into the 18th minute now of the first half. Arsenal 0, Burnley 0. And listening to the late coverage of the game here on the Clarets Match, our first Clarets Match of the new year, and our second commentary match of 2016. Of course, we had covered that cup tie at the start of the year between Tottenham and Arsenal. We had some drama in that one as well, and Burnley coming into this game off the back of a great result against Southampton when Joey Barton marked his return to Turf Moor with a free kick goal, deflected 3-kick goal, which won the Clarets a crucial 3 points, took them into the top half before this weekend. They're now as low as 12th or 13th as the shot comes in from Alexis Sanchez. It will come off the defender and it will be a corner. And I have to say, Sanchez has locked Arsenal's biggest threat as this opening 20 minutes has gone on. We're 18 and a half minutes into the game. Arsenal have a corner. Far side this time. Ozil to take. He's going short here. Iwobi. Back to Xhaka. Will he try to shot Granit Xhaka? No, you're laying into Ramsey now. They're going from left to right here now because they've got Mustafi with the ball, and he can't get the ball in. It came off forward. It will be a for Arsenal throw. Almost level with the Burnley penalty box. Gabriel, number 5, to take it to Sanchez. Sanchez using all the rainbow of skills he has in his locker. Tries to play 1-2 with Olivier Giroud, who's in decent form at the moment. Arsenal get another throw, almost again level with the edge of the Burnley penalty area, coming in towards nearly 20 minutes gone here at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 0, Burnley 0. Ozil inside the penalty area does well, and Ramsey there was ghosting in, but a good tackle there from Ben Mee. But it comes to Gabriel. Now a chance here for Sanchez. Again pirouettes and uses the rainbow of skills he has, and here's a chance now for Gray. He's only got one defender to beat, and that's Lauren Koscielny. He's isolated though, and Koscielny stood his ground and got a good foot in there, and otherwise Gray might have been one-on-one with Petacek. He couldn't have done much else, to be fair, the Burnley striker, because there was just no support there. They're all back inside their own half. We're coming up towards 20 minutes gone. Giroud with a shot wide of the tar post, and it will be 0-0 with 20 minutes gone. And if you'd have offered that at the start to Sean Dyche, I think he'd have bit your head off. You'd bit your hand off, sorry. You'd have bit all your body off, I suppose, if you, or any Burnley fan for that matter. Well, the one player three players I believe that Burnley really need to keep quiet today. 4 if you include the brilliant Aaron Ramsey, is Ramsey himself, the Chilean Alexis Sanchez, free kick to Burnley by the way, Mesut Ozil, and of course Olivier Giroud's in a red hot scoring streak. And then obviously they've got to watch Danny Welbeck when he comes on, but I don't rate him personally as a striker, Danny Welbeck. I don't think he's good enough, certainly for Arsenal, let alone England. Free kick though to Burnley. Stephen Defoe to take the kick. Burnley have given a good account of themselves as we come towards the halfway mark of the first half, and it's flown by as that ball was treading there towards Michael Keane there. But it's a goal kick, just wide of Petacek's far post, and it's a goal kick to Arsenal. 59,000 it's been confirmed that approximately the attendance here at this wonderful football theatre, built of course back in 2006. I don't think it has the grandeur that Highbury used to have, because Highbury was one of those stadiums that would be a real, it wasn't the biggest in terms of capacity, certainly when it went all seater, but my goodness, Highbury created a really good atmosphere, and Arsenal never lost too many matches, certainly in later years. There the pitch was really tight and it suited their style of play, and I have to say the pitch is, the pitch is in absolute tip-top condition. I mean, the Arsenal pitch at Highbury was a real carpet of a service, and it's the same here at the Emirates these days. You won't see their pitch really cut up at the moment. Mind you, most pitches these days are half synthetic, half grass, and they have that carpet element to them, regardless whether it's rain, sleet, shine or rain or any other weather that gets thrown at them. Well, we could a bit of hail in that, but at the moment it's nice and sunny but bitterly cold. Halfway through the first half, Arsenal 0, Burnley 0. And this Sunday afternoon Premier League game here at the Emirates. Here's a chance now for Gabriel. Deep cross. Boyd will win the header, but not very far. Ozil trying the shot from just outside the area, and he scuffs the shot well wide of Tom Heaton's near left-hand post, I should say. And it's a goal kick to Burnley. 23 minutes of the game gone. And I have to say, I think Burnley have done a bit more than what I might have thought. And as a Clarets fan, I'm really encouraged by how they've come out and set the stall out and made it so difficult for Arsenal, not giving them any room to shoot either. Now Welby, midway inside the penalty box, tries to in the Burnley half, I should say. I'm losing my words then for a minute. And then Sean Dyche wanted a free kick. Barnes and Defoe in there, but it's a throw to Arsenal right under the gauge of John Moss. And Sean Dyche is obviously not happy. Shouting over to the fourth official, which today is Anthony Taylor. Now, what's he giving here now? Is he giving a free kick to Arsenal? Why is he giving a free kick to Arsenal? Well, I thought that was more of a foul here on Barnes. If you look at that again, I'm sorry, but that's a foul there by Granit Xhaka. And Defoe obviously doesn't like it and polishes off Xhaka now. Xhaka's got a bit of a temper. There we are, edge banging there. Xhaka, you know he's looking for trouble. John Moss has to look at this now and just think, right. And John Moss has history with Granit Xhaka, of course. He sent him off in a previous match, so they do have history, those two individuals. Actually, Barnes feeling that he's been harshly done to. I have to say, it looked more of a foul first time there by Xhaka on Barnes. I think Defoe's frustration was, why have we got a free kick as the cheers in the background are for Danny Welbeck? I don't understand why. I don't think he's that good a player, to be honest with you, Danny Welbeck. I've never rated him as a footballer, and I don't understand why people rave about him. I don't think he's that good. Certainly not for England. I don't think he puts a good enough shift in for England. And he doesn't score many for his club, I have to be honest. Here's Ozil now for Arsenal. I think they're a much better team without Welbeck than they are with him, I have to be honest with you. Here's a chance now for Gabriel. Has he won a corner there? Gabriel says it's a corner. Referee says it's a goal kick. Too much disgust there from Gabriel. Let's look at the replay. There's the ball coming in. Gabriel stretching. Well, I'm not sure that's a corner. I think the referee got that one right. It's not often I agree with a John Moss decision. Still a long time yet for John Moss to make a bad decision against Burnley or against Arsenal, of course. But as this self-confessed Burnley fan says, we need a bit of luck with it away from home with certain decisions. We didn't get many at White Hart Lane a few weeks ago in that in our last trip to London. We certainly didn't get many good decisions at the London Stadium as well against West Ham. I didn't think it was a penalty there. I think ball in towards Ozil, onside. Ozil shoots, but it's a good save. In fact, he was offside. Tom Heaton made a stick. He would have countered for much. Ozil just tripped. I'm just looking at the replay. Good ball played in there by Alexis Sanchez. A little chip in there, and yes, he's beyond the line there. Beyond the line of Keane and me, who did really well. Good. It's ironic that Burnley have learnt from the old Arsenal back four of Seaman, Dixon, Adams, Keown, or Steve Bold, and Nigel Winterburn. Years ago, they knew what to do, and Sean Dyche has got that George Graham sort of theory stuck in his head. It's great shoots at the other end, straight down the throat of Petr Cech, But a really good shot with the right foot, just to the right of the goal, inside the penalty box. He struck it well with the right foot, but as I say, straight into the arms of Pedicek, who fielded it no problem at all. Well, what encouraged the Clarets really, as Arsenal get a throw on the far side. Still, the scoreline still 0-0 as we come up now a couple of minutes shy of half an hour gone, is that what's encouraging for Burnley is they're having a few opportunities, even though they're at the moment only half chances. It's encouraging Burnley now to go forward, because they know that if they get one break of the ball, that could just be enough now to steer in there and get that all-important equalising goal. Arsenal 0, Burnley 0. 28 minutes of the first half completed. And what's been a marvellously well contested first half so far. And ball back with Pedicek now. One kick forward, and Gabriel has won that, but so too has Dean Marnie. Marnie hooks it on for me up there towards Ashley Barnes. Just couldn't quite control it, and it fell for Aaron Ramsey instead. Back with Mustafi, the German international. And then Arsenal win another throw. Ramsey kicking it off Stephen Defoe into the out of play on the halfway line. Arsene Wenger, Steve Bold, his assistant. Talk about Wenger's future here at the Emirates Stadium. Managed the club now for well over 20 years, into his 21st year as Arsenal manager, and he's managed over 1,150 games for the club. That's a great achievement in this day and age when managers are getting sacked at other clubs left, right and centre, and to get to 200 in charge of one club is an achievement in itself for Sean Dyche, of course. Well done to him on reaching that landmark, and he's achieved unparalleled success here at the Burnley. He's probably got a very good, in fact he's probably the second biggest, he's got a very good win percentage as Burnley manager. I think he's only second to Harry Potts in that respect. And it's won the league title against all the odds back in 1960, of course. Burnley was still regarded as a small town team even in those early days, and which made it the achievement more remarkable, and they did it with players scouted from Britain. Mind you, the league was proper British and English in those days. It's all multi-foreign these days. Here's Ramsey back to Monreal. Monreal back in there towards Ozil, gets the shot in, and Ben Mee took no chances, got the ball out. It will be a corner. Arsenal now just starting to turn up the pressure here as we go into the last 15 minutes of the first half, but still 0-0, and Burnley holding completely and utterly firm here as we go over half an hour of the game gone. Ozil with a long corner this time in towards the 6-yard box. Mustafi and Koscielny both jumping for it. Then Ramsey gets possession just inside the area. Boyd, he shouldn't be tempted to slide in. And a very good header there by Keane as Giroud was lurking there to try his little party piece, the scorpion kick. And again Arsenal try to foot the ball in, but that's too close to Tom Heaton, who gathers it in way before the goal line. And Burnley now can release a little bit of pressure from the goal mouth. But it was a nice cross from Ramsey actually with the back heel, and Michael Keane wasn't perturbed by it and got the header in. What a decent goal, I have to be honest. Sean Dyche asking for more. Tony Lochran and Ian Woney's lieutenants alongside him. Here's Giroud on the break down the right hand side. Good tackle there, says Mr. Moss there by Ben Mee. Giroud is adjudged to have hurt his ankle. Whether or not there was much, and whether or not that was a nasty challenge, I'm not sure. I don't think it was anything malicious there. I think Ben Mee gets the ball here. I don't think it's a high tackle by any means. I think Giroud is probably look after the sympathy vote there. Ben Mee on the replay gets a good touch on that. And Olivier Giroud, I think he's sort of feigned that a little bit there. I don't think he's... That's the thing that annoys me about this league. These foreigners that come into this league, they don't like a good proper tackle. They like to go down very easily and claim injury. I'm not a fan of that. I don't advocate that. That sort of gamesmanship ruins the game. He'll be right to continue. There he is now. He's back to full fitness. I think he was just putting it all on for show and just buying his team a few seconds of valuable time. I don't like that sort of gamesmanship, and I think the FA and the Premier League should be making some rules up about the way these players... Look at that, Alexis Sanchez rolling around 6 times to get a decision, and now he's in what perceives to be agony. Just have a look at this challenge. Yeah, it's no more than a clip from behind, and then Sanchez rolls around 63 times to try and make it look a lot worse than what it was. Again, I'm not having that. Matt Lawton, he's a bit unlucky. It was a tackle from behind, I get that. But there's no need for the play acting from Sanchez. It was, it doesn't need to roll around. He's a player that oozes talent. Why would he want to do that? He's got the free kick. Why roll around like a 6-year-old kid? It just boggles the mind. Free kick now. Ozil and Iwobi over it. It was a free kick. I'm not disputing that. What I am disputing is the decision by Sanchez to actually play it. Now there's some stuff going on there. John Moss coming over to Gabriel, I think, to speak with him. Might have been a bit of pushing and shoving. The free kick is just to the left of the centre, about 35 yards out. Iwobi chips it in, floats it into the danger zone, and on the roof of the net off Koscielny. Well, must have come off Ben Mee. Well, Burnley have disputed it. I'm looking at a replay. That clearly comes off Koscielny's head. I'm sorry, but the linesman and the referee have got this one wrong. If that isn't a goal kick, I don't know what is. And the referee has given Arsenal a corner, which by rights they shouldn't have had, as Sanchez tries to make wonders at the back post from a very acute angle, can't succeed in doing so. Maybe a bit of justice was done there. 35 minutes gone, Arsenal 0, Burnley 0, and Sean Dyche querying why that was a corner and not a goal kick. And Anthony Taylor's got previous against us as well. Certain incidents in that Leicester game 2 years ago when Leicester won it. We missed the penalty, gave us a penalty that day, and then failed to take 2 Leicester players off for what perceived to be injuries, allowed for a physio on, and as a result he was castrated as well by a lot of people there. Maybe if John Moss has a poor game, maybe he should be demoted in the same way as Mike Dean was. Mike Dean had the Yorkshire Derby yesterday between Leeds and Barnsley. That's a good header won by me, but only in the path of Ozil. Ozil comes out and well taken. Tom Heaton, lightning fast out of his goal, took the ball very cleanly and didn't give Mesut Ozil any hint of a sniff whatsoever. We'll play forward. Ben Mee will be a little bit disappointed with his header. It was a bit languid, I have to be honest, but Tom Heaton was quickly off his line and did really well. Just going back to the Mike Dean thing, he made a dog's dinner of things in the Championship derby between Barnsley and Leeds yesterday. It's obviously he was in it for himself rather than anything else. Here's a ball from that was a little bit brainless from Stephen Defoe. I think he was a bit too excited then, and if he'd have been more intelligent with that ball, I think he would have got Graham behind. And at the other end now we've got Ramsey now trying to knock the ball back. Xhaka now infield, back to this near side, infield to Ozil. Ozil's ball into the penalty area, controlled well by Iwobi. Does well there, the young lad. In fact, it was Sanchez who did that sort of skill. Here is Sanchez now leading in towards Iwobi this time, Again, a good little nick on it from Burnley, and back towards the goalkeeper Tom Heaton, who's had little or nothing to do thus far in the game. Burnley 0, Arsenal 0. Heaton kicks away from his hands, a long way up in it goes, and here's Stephen Defoe on towards the left hand side rather, and Andre Gray lays the ball back. Chance here now for Marnie, former Tottenham player, how he'd love to put one against Arsenal. Scored the only goal of the season so far against Man City. Marnie with the cross in there, it's a corner, and that'll encourage Burnley a little bit more. Coming up towards the last 7 minutes of the first half. Been very competitive, well fought. One or two contentious decisions, but so far Burnley more than matching Arsenal, and they have a corner. Me and Keane have got a bit of licence now to come forward from the back. Stephen Defoe with the corner. Burnley winning the first header. Barnes was in there by the 6-yard box. It's a bit of an up and under because Shelby won that up and under. Then Henry trying to nod it back into the danger zone. Just miscued his header. And then given away rather carelessly there by Arsenal. And Gray on the chase. And that'll run out for a throw to Arsenal. But they're having good spells of play here, Burnley, but not taking any chances at the moment. Long ball forward here from Arsenal. Well cut out. It'll drop for Alexis Sanchez. Sanchez now to Ozil. Ozil on this left hand side, tracked by George Boyd. But again, the Burnley defence doubled up and stopped Arsenal from going on any significant break. But although they have conceded a cheap throw, 5 yards inside their own half. And Ozil has a bit of a 4 or 5 yard space to pick a pass, and he's picked a short one to Andrews, who's got his next pass completely wrong. And in the end, Burnley this time with a minimum of fuss can clear up towards Gray, and Gray now will take on Mustafi, and Gray actually takes Mustafi out. Mustafi just got a foot in at the last second, which would have put Gray off, and then, well, if only Gray had had that little bit more pace on Mustafi, I think there would have been a real opportunity there, a genuine chance for Burnley at the other end. We've got Alexis Sanchez strikes in from almost 30 yards, dead central, and Tom Heaton having to spoil away to his right, gathers it in and takes the ball cleanly with both his hands. And there's a good effort there, just drifting to the right hand side and then just able to dive on top of the ball and claim and gather it in with both his hands. Nice clean catch. Too much on that ball, attempted ball to the far side from Dean Marnie. Two words that I could describe Dean Marnie so far this season, despite him being 33, 34, he's Mr. Consistency. And Mr. Consistency he certainly is. Here is a chance for Arsenal. Infield again towards Iwobi. Iwobi now, was he tagged there by Dean Marnie? He was adjudged to be, according to the referee. I think Iwobi was playing for that a bit. Dean Marnie didn't agree with that decision, and neither did I. I think Iwobi bought the decision again of Jonathan Moss. Free kick though to Arsenal. Not going to change the course of history now on that particular decision from Mr. Moss. We're approaching the latter stages of the first half, and the ball played back in there. It's only half away. Chance here inside the area and wide by Alexis Sanchez. He's getting closer and closer, I have to say. Burnley didn't deal with the first free kick properly. Ozil sending it into the mix. Marnie only half away. Then it was back to Sanchez. Good swivel away and a good little bit of skill there, but he couldn't get it out from under his. We got it out from under his feet. Hit it right-footed, but hit it about a foot or so wide. And Burnley survived. We're inside the last 4 minutes of the first half. In fact, we've got exactly 3 minutes of normal time to go now. Arsenal 0, Burnley 0, and Burnley have done really well to keep right in this game. And that's a credit to how they performed as a team and as individuals as well. But here's a chance for Ozil. Might have took that in his stride, and that was a nice idea over the top, but Ozil couldn't get on the end of it. And Heaton was able to gather it, and then Burnley make an absolute hatch of the clearance, and Burnley has to hug it out for a throw. Again, it's inviting more pressure, and Burnley don't want to be conceding at the end of the first half. That's Gabriel now. He's been allowed to take it again. Ball must have slipped when he tried to take it the first time. Now Ramsey with the throw. Midway, just over midway mark of the Burnley half, but he has to get it back to Koscielny inside his own half. Now Monreal, we haven't seen too much of him in the last sort of half an hour or so. But Sanchez we've seen a lot of, and Wiltshire too. Mustafi to get it forward up towards Gabriel, and Gabriel's ball in. Good play this now, and Ramsey trying the back heel flick again. He wasn't going to be fooled by the Burnley defence. Appeals for handball, but it looks as if there was a push there on Marnie that caused the ball to go to the hand to go towards the ball. I think there was a push in the back there, and there's not a lot Di Marnie could have done about that, to be fair. And here come Burnley now on the break with Lawton on towards Boyd. Boyd with a first time cross. Graham Barnes waiting in the centre, and Gray got in there with Petacek, and Petacek has hurt himself. Gray signalling for a physio to come on. Concerned about his fellow professional, even though he's the opposition, and I think that's good sportsmanship from Andre Gray. Entitled to go for that against Petacek, and it was a genuine challenge. Czech got there. Gray almost got a little flick there. Flicked it wide in the end, but well, yeah, I mean, that could have easily been an opening goal there for Burnley. Petacek didn't really convince himself there. Could have been red-faced, embarrassed as well as take a knock to his shoulder. He's a tough cookie though, Petacek. You have to be a tough cookie to receive the sort of head injury here. He got that dreadful injury he got at Reading nearly 10 years ago, and yet went on to have a very good career. He's later Chelsea life, winning the Champions League, League Cup several times. He's won the FA Cup as well. He's won everything there is to win in the English game and in Europe as well. He's doing a couple of press-ups. I'm sure that's a time-wasting ploy because there is a genuine injury there. So I'm not sure that's a time-wasting ploy. We're now into the 45th minute. I think we'll have a couple of minutes. I don't know. I didn't see the fourth official put his the board up. I think we've got a good minute or two there at the end of the first half. But I didn't see any board go up. Now, if you had to choose who would be the happier manager at half-time, you would say Sean Dyche rather than Arsene Wenger. The pressure's on Wenger to get 3 points today. Pressure not so as Heaton takes a free kick way from halfway inside his own half, and that found its way towards the penalty area of Arsenal. And Burnley here right at the end of the first half of a genuine opportunity here to go in front. They have a throw here, and they have a little bit of time to take it. They have played 1 minute. I think that was what was indicated by Mr. Taylor, and that's what we've got, and that's what we're only going to get. Half time then. Arsenal have huffed and puffed to try to break Burnley down, but so far no cigar, and at the moment Burnley really holding their own here at the Emirates Stadium. They've come close a couple of times through Graham Barnes, but at half time here at Turf Moor, Burnley more than a match for Arsenal. Half time at the Emirates, Arsenal 0, Burnley 0, and we'll be back with the second half very shortly. Welcome back to the Emirates Stadium. It's the same 2-11s as we started the first half with. Referee John Moss checking with his officials, checking both keepers. We're underway. Arsenal now attacking the goal to our left, Burnley attacking the clock end. Where 3,000 of their hearty souls are hearty Burnley Clarets supporters are now based behind as Gray tries to get in behind, but it's well cut out by Koscielny. And we'll check the two teams in just a minute. As Sanchez goes through, past Boyd he goes. Sanchez turns, looks to try and get the ball out to the far side. Indeed he does. Ozil now on the right hand side. No changes from either side, but we'll bring you the two lineups just in case you've joined us late on the Clarets Match Delayed. Full delayed commentary of the Premier League game between Arsenal and Burnley from the Emirates Stadium. And a long ball forward towards Gray, but that's going to run. Dead, is it? No, Gray's kept that in, but Granit Xhaka's there for the Arsenal. So let's run through the two teams, starting of course with the Clarets. Heaton is in goal as Henrik goes in a challenge there, and Welby goes through. We'll just break off for a second because we've got Sanchez on the break here for Arsenal. Sanchez near side in towards Monreal. Monreal trying the shot, and it's an easy save, diving away to his right for Tom Heaton. So as I say, Tom Heaton is in goal, and it's a back four of Stephen Ward, Ben Mee, Michael Keane and Matt Lawton. Midfield four, Stephen Defoe on the left, George Boyd on the right, and the two central midfielders, Dean Marney and Jeff Henrik. And it's Gray and Barnes up front. On the bench is Flanagan, Kitely, Barton, Vokes, Robinson, Tarkowski and Darwinka. And for Arsenal, just quickly, it's Pedicek in goal, a back four of Gabriel, Mustafi, Lauren Koscielny and Nacho Monreal. Two holding midfielders, Aaron Ramsey and Granit Xhaka. Alexis Sanchez, Mesut Ozil and Alex Iwobi, the attacking midfield trio. And it's Olivier Giroud up front. And on their bench, Ospina the goalkeeper, Kieran Gibbs, Hector Bellerin, Francis Coquelin, Alexei Chembley, Danny Welbeck and Lucas. There are the two lineups. No substitutions from either side to bring you up to date with. And it's as you were. As Arsenal going for the kill early on, it still might drop here for Sanchez on the edge of the D. Dangerous ball in there initially. We'll probably get a proper replay as the ball gets fed in towards the penalty area. Sanchez, tricky little player. He's caused Burnley no end of trouble in this first half. Sanchez gets the glory towards the penalty area. Giroud is there, and then Wilshere tries to flip it over, I think, with the Rabone. Tries to Rabone the ball over or towards goal, but he got it wrong. The Rabona flick. There's the ball played in there, and well, that would have been some goal if he'd done that. Backheeled it, tried to use the backheel. Good header down from Giroud, but I think Ramsey could have done a little bit better than what he did there. 3 minutes gone. There was an opportunity there for Monreal that was blocked again by Giroud. I didn't see that. I was too busy actually running through the two lineups just to remind you all. Here's Gray at the other end. Gray now tries to pick out the runner Defoe on the far side. Defoe now, plenty of time to dig out a cross. It wasn't the particularly best one, but Barnes has done well to try and control it, although Mustafi putting him under a little bit of pressure. Welby's there. We've played through almost 2.5 minutes of the second half. We have played 2.5 minutes now of the second half. And here's Jeff Henrik. Henrik looking to take on two opponents, and he's lost out to Iwobi, and there could be a break on here as Ozil leads the charge. Infield to Iwobi over the halfway line. He's got Giroud up ahead and Sanchez to his left. Here is Sanchez, left hand side, cuts infield. Sanchez shoots and just over the bar from the edge of the penalty area with his right foot, and it just cleared Tom Heaton's crossbar only by the merest of whiskers, and Burnley still in the game at 0-0, and it didn't clear the crossbar by much, I have to say. Venomous right-footed shot, cutting from the left-hand side and struck it from about 20 yards. That just drifted over the crossbar there, but that was a good lightning-fast counter-attack there from Arsenal, causing no end of problem there. Burnley maybe committed too many men forward there, but almost paid the ultimate penalty there. Sanchez, a very good effort there, which just clears the crossbar, thankfully from a Burnley viewpoint. Henrik has won the ball on the halfway line. It's fed Stephen Defoe, who's playing, to be fair, in a very unnatural position. His left-hand side is probably not his bag. But he did ask for more game time. He's got it, but I think he should be playing in the central of midfield. Maybe a penny for Sean Dyche's thoughts. Maybe he should have played Henrik on the right or left, maybe. But hindsight's a wonderful thing. Ward will take the throw. And it will be a free kick, I think, to Burnley. I think there might have been a possible handball there. Now then, and big opportunity here. 5 minutes into the second half. Can Defoe put in a very good ball here and make this Arsenal defence work? Keane and me are both forward from the back. It's a bitterly cold afternoon. In it comes. It wasn't a particularly good free kick by Defoe. Didn't really reach the first man. But Burnley somehow keep it alive for Ben Mee. But he's lost it now. And here come one of these Arsenal counter-attacks coming right up here, because here's Ozil now breaking forward. He's got Sanchez in the middle. So too is Ramsey. Giroud making a good run towards the penalty spot. Ball back to Granit Xhaka. Will he try the shot? No, he'll play it to Monreal. Monreal now to Sanchez. Left-hand side. Sanchez has got Monreal again on the overlap, and a good cross there, but it's well blocked. Equally there by Boyd. Now Sanchez has it. Sanchez has to turn. Play the ball back to Granit Xhaka. Xhaka played it into feet here. Giroud on the edge of the area. Monreal playing it in, and he tried to get it back towards Ramsey, and it was well marshalled there by the brilliant Ben Mee, making his 95th consecutive start for Burnley in the league, either at Championship level or Premier League level. Mr. Consistency as well with Di Marni. I think you'd have to share that particular nickname with both Di Marni and Ben Mee. Still the danger not over yet. Ball played into the penalty area, and Barnes deciding to leave that and let it drift out for a goal kick to Burnley, and Tom Heaton now can, thankfully from a Burnley perspective, clear the lines. Well, Arsenal there really playing some really good football. Monreal playing it in, and Ben Mee just getting a good touch there before Ramsey could get in there. So we played 7 minutes of the second half, and Burnley have been penalised again. 0-0 is the score, and Mustafi is down holding his face. Ashley Barnes, the other player involved. Let's have a look at it again. Barnes going in there. No, he's got eyes for the ball. Mustafi he's caught, but not to the extent where he needs to roll around and hold his face every 2 seconds. And that's sad, really, when the foreign players, and I mentioned that during the first half, to be honest, that the foreigners do feign injuries for no reason whatsoever. Just get up and get on with the game. You've got the free kick. Just be happy with that. Anyway, enough about moaning and groaning for the time being, at least. I'm sure we're going to have some more contentious decisions as this second half goes on, and that's a good ball played in there from the right hand side, and it was well cut out by the early defender, and really graded absolutely nothing. He span away from Koscielny, and Koscielny conned the referee. He absolutely conned the referee. I think the free kick has been taken. Here's Sanchez now. Arsenal will be, well, I think Burnley will be livid if Arsenal score from this now. Sanchez trying to lay the ball in, but Burnley with so many numbers back, it's going to be so difficult for Arsenal to break them down. And Stephen Defoe now will run at Burnley a throw, and a bit of respite perhaps, but Andre Gray, oh, that's harsh. And Sean Dyche is having words with the fourth official, not for the first time this afternoon. I do think one or two of the decisions have gone against the Clarets in some respects, and Sean Dyche is furious. You can tell it on his face. He's... oh, I don't know. What do the smaller teams... I'm a big fan of Burnley. What do we have to do to get a decision in this ridiculous league? It's the best league in the world, but I have to say the officials in this league, the Premier League, are the worst set of officials that the Premier League's probably seen. David Ellery wouldn't have stood for any of the nonsense that the foreigners give, or Howard Webb or any of the other old school referees of yesteryear. My goodness, Keith Hackett wouldn't have stood for all that. Going back nearly 30-40 years. I think Peter Willis would have sent a few of them off. Foreign players, that is. Get away with it all over Europe, but they don't get away with it here in this country. For some reason, John Moss is turning a blind eye to some of these theatrics from the Arsenal players, but they are on the ascendancy at the moment. 55 minutes and almost gone here at the Emirates. But Burnley are really making it difficult, and Gray has spun away from his man. There was no foul there on Koscielny, and Gray, he rushed it, and he had time, and he had three in the middle, and in the end he got it absolutely wrong. And here's Sanchez at the other end. Burnley might pay for this. Keane gets there, but Sanchez has kept the ball alive. He's not stopped running all day, the Chilean, to be fair. He's been Arsenal's best player by an absolute country mile, and he's got a corner kick. Well, Andre Gray will be kicking himself there with an opportunity here. An opportunity to get the ball in. There was three in the middle and he didn't take the opportunity. Corner taken short. Sanchez now will knock the ball into the penalty area. Mustafi might win this. Oh, he goes down. Mustafi claiming for a penalty, but John Moss wasn't one for moving there. But Arsenal still have possession and still might finish it off with Ramsey with a shot with the right foot, but no penalty. I'll have to look at the replay in a second. Here's Ramsey now, left hand side. Ramsey gets the ball in, and this time Burnley can get it away through Lawton, and Lawton attempts to get Gray away, but Arsenal just had enough sufficient bodies back there to stop any opportunity there for the Clarets. Well, debatable whether that was a penalty or not there for Arsenal, but it wasn't given, thankfully, from a Burnley's perspective. Here is Ashley Barnes up the walls, the halfway line, and Gray will chase against Koscielny, who has a little bit of an head start, but Gray almost got there to his credit, and he's done more than that. He's got the throw. Well done, Andre Gray. Did really well there. Chased a lost cause, and it's got Burnley a very good decision there. Now, we might just see a replay of this. Let's have a look at it again. It's Gray involved. I think he's going down a little too easy. I think Mustafi's looking for that a little bit. Gray, there's a little bit of contact there, but there's not enough, in my eyes, to warrant that being a penalty. So I think the referee got it right. Here's Barnes now, right-hand side, and Koscielny gets back there to knock it back to Pedicek. Arsenal are a decent side, and they don't have to revert to diving and throwing their weight around to get with decisions. They are a good enough side to break teams down. I've always praised them for the way they attack, but the way they've been throwing themselves around this afternoon, they are losing a little bit of respect with me here. But they've won the ball back rather well here, and Janit Xhaka now can break here for Arsenal. Half clear to Iwobi. Iwobi away from one man, and he's closing in on goal. It's Alex Iwobi, comes off the defender, and Stephen Ward, brave work there, put his body on the line and has conceded a Burnley on Arsenal corner. They've had plenty of those, Arsenal, but haven't done too much penetration with them, or put a penetrating ball in there. And meanwhile, Lawton has been penalised. Now, what has he got penalised for here? Oh, John Moss, what are you doing? I don't understand that one. I'll have to look at a replay of why he got the yellow card, but we've got more defending to do. We're into the 59th minute. Ozil with his right foot into more to mix. Mustafi with a header, and he's got in the corner. And you've got to say, as much as I hate to say it, Arsenal have threatened it from the word go at the start of the second half, and Mustafi, with his first goal for Arsenal, has nodded it past Tom Heaton's despairing dive. He stretched as much as he could the big Burnley keeper to his right, but the accuracy and the pace of the header was just too good for the Burnley goalkeeper. And after nearly 59 minutes of play here at the Emirates, Arsenal take the lead, and Burnley's away day blues well and truly continued. And to be fair to Heaton, he almost got a hand to that, but he couldn't keep it out. Just a little clenched fist there from Wenger, little fist pump there in celebration. And well, I think most of the Emirates, apart from 3,000 Clarets, will be quite relieved by that, I suppose. Burnley had made it very difficult for them, but the Clarets have conceded one now, and now it's up to Burnley now to try and get back into this game. Can Steven Defoe provide a positive response? And look at this now, chance here for Mane, lining up. Mane with a shot, and he struck it well, but it was two down and two straight at Pedicek. Really hit it with all his might, but Pedicek was just too perfectly placed To be beaten from that sort of range, about 35 yards, he struck it well enough though, Marnie. And now Arsenal now. Burnley have to throw bodies now because they have to chase the game. They've kept Arsenal out for 58 minutes today. It took them until the 70th minute in the last Premier League game to break the Burnley block down there from Arsenal, and they scored 3 goals in no time at all. Here's Sanchez, who's worked really hard this afternoon. Has really put on an entertaining show individually, but his team are in front now. It's come from an unlikely source. Mustafi, the German international, with his first goal for Arsenal. Ball played forward, but again Michael Keane cutting that one out rather well and then just getting it back. Safety first, back to Heaton, and Heaton will get cleared despite the advances of Mesut Ozil trying to close him down. Here's Di Marni to Henrik. Henrik now on in turn. Now Ward has it. Ward on the far side here. 60 minutes gone. Half an hour plus stoppage time still to play. Here's Di Marni, 1-0 to Arsenal. Goal from Mustafi, and Ward turns nicely. Turns nicely. Finds Michael Keane. Keane has got Lawton on the left-hand side, right-hand side, I should say. And back with Michael Keane. Long ball forward up towards Ashley Barnes. Koscielny reading the situation really well, and Monreal now will complete the Arsenal clearance. Keane winning the next header, but it is a throw to Arsenal. 10 yards inside their own half. 61 and a half minutes now gone at the Emirates Stadium. As Monreal has it in towards Xhaka. Xhaka now on in turn for Ramsey. Ramsey to the far side. Arsenal keeping possession really well. Here's a Welby now. Welby does really well, gets it into Ozil. Ozil on towards Gabriel, but the ball was rather overhit, or was it? No, it came off a defender, so it will be a corner. Now Burnley now need to mark up a bit more better. They can't afford to go 2 down here, the Clarets. There's no doubt about that. If they do go 2-0 down, then I think it might just be game over for them. Koscielny and Mustafi both forward from the back. He's taken short by Ozil, in fact, to Ramsey. Plays a careless ball, I have to say. That's going to go for a throw. Throw to Burnley. Just by the corner quadrant on the near side. Matt Lawton. Now this was the opportunity. I think this was Lawton. Well, yeah, I suppose he had to be booked because he did clip Alexis Sanchez there. So I suppose under the letter of the law, the referee was right to do so. So Lawton has to watch his step now for the next 28 minutes, maybe more that remains. Here's Monreal now for Arsenal, down the near side. But even if Arsenal do go on to win, Burnley have made it a real tough task for them today. A real test of their championship credentials. There's not been too many rumours floating about who Arsenal would like to sign in January. I do think Arsenal are desperately short of top quality players, and that's why they haven't won the league since 2004. 13 years since their last title triumph, that Invincibles year, as that cross from Monreal is hooked away by Michael Keane from his own near post. 13 years since the Invincibles won that league, of course. They went 38 games unbeaten, and then they continued that into the next year. I think they went 43 games unbeaten or something or other, and then they went to Old Trafford for Pizzagate, and they were conned by a couple of decisions there at Old Trafford against Manchester United. And they went on to finish second behind Chelsea that year, 2004-05. So they almost defended the title successfully. But they had a very good side in those days. They had world-class individuals like Cesc Fabregas and Thierry Henry and Patrick Vieira. Jens Lehmann, the goalkeeper, who did okay for a couple of years, replacing the long-term Arsenal keeper at the time, David Seaman. But here come Arsenal now on the break. Burnley on the break, and the referee stopped it. Granit Xhaka on Stephen Defoe here. Did look rather dangerous, but I think John Moss could have played on there, to be fair. So Di Marni making the point, come on, you could have played advantage there. Stephen Defoe is in some serious trouble. Granit Xhaka, actually, to be fair to him, is asking if Defoe is okay. Referee's consulting the linesman, and has pulled out the red card! Granit Xhaka has been sent off. I haven't seen a replay. Did look at Tad on the high side. Xhaka consulting the linesman. Andy Halliday on the far side, but I'm sure Granit Xhaka can have no complaints. John Moss telling him, right son, you're off. And I don't think there's much doubt about that. And when we looked at the replay now, Xhaka completely lost his bearings. First of all, he loses the ball rather carelessly to Stephen Defoe, and then Defoe gets a foot in. The feet are high. It's a scissors challenge, and in this day and age under FIFA laws, that is a straight red card. I don't think Jonathan Moss had any other decision to make, and I think he's got that decision spot on. And Wenger involved now. Their team have to play 25 minutes, maybe a little bit more, with 10 men on the field. And, well, he could complain to the linesman, Andy Halliday, as much as he wants. He was the man who saw it, and he had a perfect view of the linesman. And I think he was right to pull the referee aside and say, right, he's the one. He's made a bad challenge. He's got to go. And he has gone, and he's going towards the tunnel down below us here at the Emirates. Xhaka now will not take any further part in this game due to an act of stupidity. Well, in two counts. First of all, he gave the ball away as Keane Robert tries to flick the ball on, but it's straining the arms of Petacek. Going back, first of all, giving the ball away to Defoe, which was a silly little thing to do, really, when he had plenty of time and plenty more options there to maybe have a look at. And then, secondly, to put in a tackle of that magnitude, it was just brainless. And he has a history. I think that's his first sending off of the season. I make it, and that's twice he's been sent off by the same referee, John Moss. I did say at the start he had previous with Moss, Granit Xhaka. Well, there will be. I don't think the Arsenal fans can have any complaints now, but Burnley now have got the ascendancy now. They've got the man advantage. Now, they didn't use that to particular effect against Manchester City a couple of weeks ago. They need to show a bit more guile, I think, now in the final third, certainly in this game, because if they can, then there's still every chance. Joey Barton there about to maybe come on in a second or two. He's more or less kitted up and ready for action. He's just got to take his tracksuit top off, and then he'll be ready to go. Here is a chance for Ward now to come forward. Burnley now, man advantage due to a brainless sending off here from Granit Xhaka. As the ball was playing towards Lawton's path, but it was straining into the arms of Petacek. Burnley have now, at the halfway mark of the second half, they are trailing by a goal to nil, but are a man up. So this really should give them lift off here to really go at Arsenal now and really put pressure on their back four, because if they can do that and make it so difficult, then they've got every chance. There's Vic Akers down there next to Anthony Taylor. He's the Arsenal kit manager, and for so many years the manager of the highly successful ladies team. And there's going to be a change in the offing. It's going to be, let's have a look who's coming off. It's a Welby that's being withdrawn. And let's see who's coming on. I think it might be, is it Francis Coquelin? I think it might be Francis Coquelin, in fact. Alex Welby did okay. Didn't really trouble that much, so I think it's Francis Coquelin who's come on for Arsenal. We were 1-0 up, but they were a man down. Long ball forward up towards Ozil, but again, good defending there from Benby. Kept his eye on the ball. So we've had a red card in this game. Maybe a contentious penalty decision which didn't go Arsenal's way on Mustafi, but they were one up through Mustafi's 58th minute header. Here's Ramsey for the 10 men in red and white to Giroud. Burnley, of course, playing in an all light blue strip with a claret stripe on either side of the sleeves and the side of the shorts. Here's George Boyd, long hair with the Alice band, plays the ball forward but can't control it. We're now coming up towards 20 minutes of normal time to play, maybe a little bit more than that. It took at least a good couple of minutes for Granit Xhaka to leave the field of play after his ridiculous challenge there on Stephen Defoe, who I'm pleased to say is okay and he's not seriously hurt. Here's Pedacek now with his left foot. He's about to get it away. Gives it a whole mighty whack up 3/4 of the way up the field. Keane winning a header. Then Dean Marnie in to win the next one. They appeal for handball against Coquelin and they get that decision. Joey Barton is more or less ready to come on. I think he's just warming up, but he will be. I'm certain he's going to make an appearance at some point. Some folks there in the background. Tom Eaton takes a free kick. Burnley with that man advantage. Can they make something pay? They've got a free kick here in a very dangerous area, about 30 yards from goal. Tony Loughlin, Ian Walsh, Sean Dyche down below me, having a consultation. Big opportunity this for the Clarets. Can they get themselves back into this game? They've got every opportunity to do so. Stephen Defoe wants a piece of it. It's almost like Joey Barton last week against Southampton, isn't it? When he said, right, I'm having this, and he scored from it. Wouldn't it be a turn up if it happened twice in a week to two different players? It's a good 30 yards from goal, however. It's just to the left of centre, but it's a good opportunity for the right footer here at Defoe. He's got a wonderful right foot, as we saw against Watford. Referee's blown his whistle. Defoe runs up to it. Right foot strikes it well and palmed over the top by Pedacek. It was a terrific effort there from Stephen Defoe, the Belgian. And Pedacek tipping it over. It was a little bit easy. It was an easier save than he might have anticipated. It was straight at him, but it still needed to be saved. It was a good free kick from Stephen Defoe. Either side, that's 1-1. Burnley still might have a chance here at 1-1. Defoe with his right foot curls the ball in there. Ben Mee with a header. Still might drop for Burnley. Koscielny away. And then Ward goes in there. It's almost a scramble. It's another corner. Stephen Ward has won the corner. But it could have been so much more for Burnley here. They're putting pressure on that Arsenal back line. They're about to bring Joey Barton on to maybe give that midfield a bit more impotence and a bit more oomph. Here's the corner now to be taken by Stephen Defoe, and here comes Joey Barton. He's going to be replacing Jeff Henrik here, which is a little bit of a surprise, but Henrik has worked hard, not without too much reward, I have to say, but he's done okay. He's done alright, worked hard, but Joey Barton gives you that oomph in midfield and gets a rapturous applause from the Burnley fans. As Defoe again swings that into the near post, only half away from Arsenal. Boyd will win the ball, and he's nutmegged Alexis Sanchez, and almost got away from him as well, but Sanchez actually got back once he was nutmegged and got the ball away for Arsenal. It's not every day you see Alexis Sanchez nutmeg. Now at the other end, we've got a break on here with Ozil, and him and Marnie have clashed, and Marnie has come off the worst. Arsenal have got a free kick here. Dean Marnie, I think, will be... Oh, John Moss, really? He's injured and you're going to just book him? Okay, carry out what you need to do on the FIFA regulations and the letter of the law, but the guy's so clearly injured and you're just straight away trying to get the book out. The one thing that Dean Marnie should be receiving right now is treatment, not extra punishment. It is a free kick on Ozil, and I think Ozil does make a little bit more of a meal of it when it needs to be. But I'm sorry, the referee has got to get a grip on it. I have to be honest. Dean Marnie is seriously injured and John Moss is there like a praying mantis wanting to book him and showing a yellow card when all Dean Marnie is interested in right now is receiving treatment. He can apply the letter of the law all he wants, John Moss, but I'm sorry, but you cannot do... I mean, that is just scandalous. There's more concern for the player's safety than there is whether he gets booked or not. I think John Moss has got to see that. Oh, he didn't have to do that, John Moss. That is ridiculous refereeing. The stretcher is called and he's booked him, and he's shown the yellow card without any sense of compassion at all, the referee. He has to do it, of course, under FIFA regulations, I get that. But that is like a double whammy for me. And Dean Marnie, let's forget about the referee for a second or two. It's going to be an enforced change, you won't think. I think James Tarkowski might be the man to come on. But Dean Marnie could well be a knee job here. There's worried looks around here from both Arsenal and Burnley. Stephen Ward This was the goal that separates the teams. There's a good header there from Mustafi, the German international, just nodding it beyond Tom Heaton's dad. And Tom Heaton, to be fair, almost got a good. I think he might have nicked got a gob on that, but a little gob on that, but he couldn't keep it out. He did well, to be fair, and there's an awful, I think now. But John Moss, hang your head in shame, mate. You don't show an injured player like that. I know you're under regulations by your bosses to do so. All the oxygen mask is coming out now. This does not look good for Dean Marney, but get the yellow card. We've got a more serious case here for Dean Marney. James Tarkowski will enter the fray under these unfortunate shall we say circumstances, getting his last instructions off Ian Well and Sean Dyche there. Tony Lochran in the background there too. And well, it's never nice to see a man on a stretcher, and thankfully he doesn't need the oxygen, but he looks in some discomfort there, Dean Marney. And on comes James Tarkowski, signed from the club 12 months ago from Brentford. This is his first ever time in the Premier League as a Premier League footballer. John Moss, I think, could have just erred on the side of caution and not even bothered booking Dean Marney. Meanwhile, we've got another change. Sean Vokes will come on to replace Stephen Defoe. He's worked his socks off on the left hand side, almost scored from a free kick, so it means I think Tarkowski and Barton will be the central two, with Barnes drifting out to the left hand channel where he's played for before, remember, in the Premier League. It's an Arsenal 3-kick left hand side, Ozil with the corner, and I think that could have been left there by Ben Mee. There were 3 Clarets players, for heaven's sake, larger than that, and I think they could have been better off just leaving it now. And Burnley now have got a corner to defend when they could have left it and cleared their lines with a goal kick. But they are still a man up on Arsenal numerically, and whilst you have that up playing against 10 men, there's still every chance in the world that Burnley can get back into this game. But Arsenal have the quality, despite having 10 men, to get a second killer goal, and they almost did through Ozil. They still might through Sanchez. Good tackle there from Joey Barton. No holds barred there by the Burnley man, and he hooks it back to Petr Cech, and Gray on the chase, pursuing him, trying to close the goal kick down. And Barton again winning the next one. Barton is wearing number 19, Tarkowski 26, and Vokes not surprisingly wearing 9. Here's Gray, chests it down, no ain't a handball there, and he's trying to get runners into the centre. There was just nobody gambling. Gray's got the pace, but unfortunately Boy didn't. Vokes, in all due respect, don't have as much pace as Andre Gray does. But Burnley have got a throw though in a very good area, deep inside Arsenal territory. 13 minutes to go. It's almost over the penalty area. Lawton from the right hand side. Cross comes in. Tarkowski there trying to win the ball, and he's done well. Lawton trying to get it back into the mix, and Koscielny's just hacking it away as far up the field as he possibly can for Arsenal. They're going to be in a one heck of a finish now in the last 12 minutes plus stoppage time, and I think there'll be a good 3 or 4 minutes for the Dean Marney injury, and probably you're looking at 4, maybe 5 minutes here at the end of the game. So in reality, we've probably got about 20 minutes to go. Burnley 1-0 down, but they're still very much in this game. Here's Monreal for Arsenal. Monreal on to Sanchez, who's played really well, I have to say, the Chilean. He's had a good match. Here's Ramsey now in field. Now Mustafi, the man whose goal could well separate these two sides here this afternoon in this seesaw game. Offside against Olivier Giroud, who's, in fairness, has had a frustrating afternoon from his high standards. So Burnley have used 3 of their substitutes, 2 for tactical reasons and 1 enforced with the Dean Marney injury. Arsenal have only used 1. They still have the likes of Danny Welbeck to call upon. I don't rate Danny Welbeck at all, by the way. I don't think he's a good player. I've never rated him, to be quite honest. But there you are. Burnley have a throw. Lawton to take deep inside their own in the Arsenal territory. I think most of this second half now, the last of it now, is going to be played in Arsenal territory. They've got 10 men. They've brought on a defensive option with Coquelin, and they will want to defend this 1-0 lead for as much as they can. Vokes with a flick on, Grains inside the box, and Sanchez got back there, did some good defensive work. Tarkowski trying to keep it alive on the edge of the D, but couldn't thread it through. But Burnley still keeping the pressure on. Here's Tarkowski. Tarkowski turning away from his man. Still Tarkowski. Back to Michael Keane. Keane just to the right. Knocks it into the mixer once again. Barnes with a flick on, and Barnes is in there, and he could only stab it into the arms tamely of Petr Cech, and he was on the ground. If he'd have been on his feet, I think he might have lashed that in. Vokes winning it on. Barnes went in there first time, and then whilst he was on the deck, tried to somehow fish it towards goal, but didn't fish it with any great authority or any great power. And in the end, the ball ran rather tamely to Petr Cech's arms, and he was able to take the heat out of the situation. To Barnes' obvious there frustration, and it's out for a throw, in fact. Mustafi's down injured as well. It's all happening here at the Emirates now. 10 minutes just under to play. Oh, it's been a highly entertaining, highly riveting contest. Mustafi, I think, might have been injured in that with that clash with Sam Vokes. Nothing Sam Vokes did wrong there. He won the header cleanly. So that will go back to Petr Cech this time. Cech can pick that up as well, because the Burnley player gave it back. Down just 8.5 minutes to go, plus any stoppage time that will be added on at the end of the game. Remember, after the game's finished, after the commentary's finished, Sean Dyche will be on, give his match post view, and then later on, after we've done this, I will be on YouTube giving my opinion to camera on how the game panned out. And believe you and me, knowing me, there will be one or two criticisms again of the Burnley performance, but on the main it's been quite a positive, encouraging one. But here's Coquelin to the far side. Here's Gabriel keeping the ball in touch. Still 1-0 to Arsenal. 82 minutes gone. That's 8 minutes to play plus stoppage time. I would think about 4, maybe 5, possibly 6 minutes maybe at the end of the game. Here's Petr Cech with the clearance. Left footed, way over halfway, but Keane virtually unchallenged, winning the header. Remember, Arsenal down to 10 men around about 67 minutes, 65 minutes when Granit Xhaka scissor kicked Stephen Defoe rather late after we gave the ball away to Defoe initially. For that, in the 58th minute, Mustafi, the German international, with a bullet header, and it just brushed enough to get away from the goalkeepers, grasping into the back of the net. So 1-0 to Arsenal. Foul on Tarkowski by Giroud. That's an old phrase. Back in the olden days when George Graham was Arsenal manager, Arsenal used to win games or fish them out or get through them by winning 1-0 every other week. They weren't the most entertaining teams, but they got called everything from boring Arsenal, 1-0 to the Arsenal, and everything else. They're far from boring these days, Arsenal. Certainly when Wenger took over, all the days of players boozing and all that went out, and he's putting really good sports science at the club. He's really, it was his vision that got the Emirates Stadium here, although I think a lot of diehard Arsenal fans would still prefer to be at Highbury, where the pitch is really on top, when the crowd are really on top of you. They were in those days. And Ward has pinched the ball back. Real chance here for Burnley. Oh, that's a poor cross from Ward. There was two in the middle, and I think the cross needed to be better. But Burnley have kept it alive. Right hand side. Walton into the penalty area. Towards Barnes this time. Tarkowski will shoot. Tarkowski with a shot. Blocked. It'll come for Barton. Barton has given it rather carelessly away to Sanchez. And now Arsenal can counter attack. And Arsenal will counter attack here. As Monreal, Ramsey keeps that in and wins the throw. Aaron Ramsey, former Cardiff City player, played in the 2008 Cup final for them before he's moved to Arsenal. Sean Dyche 6 minutes potentially away from another away defeat, but there's going to be a considerable amount of stoppage time. I know we'll be getting maybe 4, maybe 5, 6 minutes perhaps. 6 minutes at a push. But there still might be a bit more time because Arsenal still, I think, have got a couple of substitutes up their sleeve. I've only used one of the subs. Burnley have used all 3, one of which was enforced because of the injury to poor old Dean Marnie, which is a real shame really. And let's hope the injury is not too serious. I mean, he's obviously gone off to the local hospital for a look, an X-ray or two, and see what the job is. I think it might be the knee, in fact. But here come Arsenal trying to kill the game off. Giroud couldn't get it out from under his feet there. And here's Boyd on the break here for Burnley. Boyd now has it. Lawton is there too, and a real opportunity possibly for Burnley now to try and get themselves back into the game. Danny Welbeck's about to come on. A player that I've never liked at all. I don't think he's a good enough striker. He's not exactly a very good player up front as a striker, and I never rated him. Possibly more of a midfield player than a striker. Great keeps it alive though for Burnley. Burnley can still nick a point from this. They can still nick a point. Barton couldn't get it out. Boyd is there too inside the penalty area. And Arsenal now desperate defending here by the Gunners. They are right up against it now because Burnley are throwing every conceivable stealth bullet and cannon fodder at it all now. Barton hoists another one into the mixer. Can Lawton keep it in play? The answer is an emphatic no, he can't. 4 minutes to go, and Danny Welbeck will replace Olivier Giroud. But I've never rated Danny Welbeck as a striker. Left-sided midfield player, yes, but as a striker, it doesn't score enough goals for me, and I still question him. Any England manager who picks him for an England squad, because I think there are much better strikers out there than Danny Welbeck. But he will replace Olivier Giroud. It's not been his day. Danny Welbeck comes on. He's only going to get 4 minutes anyway. And the Arsenal fans, well, it's they're fist pumping, the smiles on their faces, but there's still a long way to go in this game. Don't be deceived. There might be 3 minutes of normal time on, but there's going to be at least 5. That's a silly foul from Danny Welbeck on James Tarkowski. Brainless football there by Welbeck, but it gives Burnley an opportunity here, an opportunity for Tom Heaton to launch another big bomb into that Arsenal penalty box and really cause trouble here for this Arsenal defence. Welbeck's back there defending, of course. So virtually more or less the Arsenal team now, the 10 men that are left. Only Heaton inside the penalty area, the Arsenal half and Burnley half at the moment. The game being played solely now in the Arsenal half. From now to the end, you get the feeling. Here's Ward now. Can he get a crossing from the left hand side towards Michael Keane, who's playing as an auxiliary centre forward, and then the shot from Lawton was an absolute disgrace, really. He was, when he struck it, he was almost punch drunk, and in fact he's hurt himself. In fact, he's limping around. Last change for Arsenal. Hector Bellerin is the man that's about to come on here. There are 2 minutes of stoppage time to go, but I think there's going to be at least 6, maybe 7 minutes at the end, I'm hearing. And who's coming off here? Mesut Ozil, perhaps, I think. Yes, it's Mesut Ozil. It's taken an age to come off this field, I have to be honest. Mesut Ozil is coming off, and on in his place comes Hector Bellerin. So Arsenal now just going to try and keep it at 1, I think, and hope and pray that Burnley don't get anything out of this game. But at the moment, we've got about 1 minute and 20 left of normal time. Here's Sanchez on the ball. Through the middle, Sanchez now has got Bellerin down on the other side, crossing it towards Welbeck, and way by Barton, but only as far here as Coquelin. Good save. Heaton sprawling away to his left hand side, and has kept Burnley in the game for now. 1 minute of normal time to go, but there's going to be a big chunk at the end now. 89 minutes gone. Folks into win the next one. Now Barnes has it. Barnes trying to play it forward. Comes off the defender. And it's all hands on deck for Arsenal. It was all hands on deck a moment or two ago for Burnley. Welbeck trying to get in there. Again, good challenges in there from the Burnley players and the Arsenal players themselves. And now Welbeck through in the middle, pursued by Ben Mee. And Ben Mee did tremendously well to get back there. And that's why why I don't rate Danny Welbeck as a centre forward, because he was very, very slow. And I think he's better off as a wingman rather than a striker. Ball in there towards Bogues, trying to flick him down for Gray. Here comes Joey Barton. Here's a chance now for Ward. Lawton to knock it into the mix. I'm getting excited now. We've played 90 minutes. Now the fourth official's holding up 7 minutes, and I'm not surprised. There's been a lot of time added on, and this will give Burnley a lot of heart and a lot of hope. But Wenger, obviously, he's not too unhappy. He's not too happy about the decision. We're just seeing a replay of the chance there inside the penalty area for Coquelin, with a good sprawling save by Tom Heaton. He really kept Burnley in the contest. And Burnley have now might as well pile men forward. They haven't got the throw though. Oh, that's a tad controversial, but there's still a long way to go yet. We're into the first of 7. Yes, 7 minutes at the end, and I'm not surprised, because there's been a lot of time to be added on due to the first of all the red card. That was a good 2 or 3 minutes, and then Marnie's injury was at least a good 4 or 5, and then you've got all the substitutes in and amongst it. Then I think Anthony Taylor was quite right to do that. Ball in there from Lawton into the mixer. Well, Petacek claims it under no great pressure, I have to say. But Sean Dyche still saying, asking for more. He's still carrying on. You fight until the last seconds, lads. That's what I expect of you. That's a minimum requirement, he's saying. We've played a minute of 15 out of the 7 we've had at the end. Burnley 1-0 up, 1-0 down, but still very much in this game. Playing against 10 men. Xhaka was sent off after 67 minutes for a stupid tackle on Stephen Defoe, who's been substituted. Di Marnie had to go off through an injury. Barton gets it forward towards the near side. Again, Monreal winning the header, but Burnley have a throw deep in Arsenal territory, about 30 yards from goal, 10 yards from the edge of the area. Lawton goes long into the penalty area looking for Tarkowski. Barnes is in there too. Barnes was out down. It's a penalty! It's a penalty to Burnley! Jonathan Moss got the decision spot on, because Barnes was clearly taken out in the penalty area. Mustafi can argue all he wants. Wenger can argue all he wants. But the penalty he's been given. And if you look at it again, it is a penalty. And it's, I don't know who took him out. Was it Coquelin who took him out here? Oh, he's wiped him out, Coquelin. That's a penalty. You cannot argue with that, Wenger. You cannot argue that, Mustafi. That's a penalty. And what an opportunity now for Andre Gray. He grew up an Arsenal fan, and now could inflict more misery to the team he used to support. He's against Petacek. Right-footed, 12 yards out. Down the middle, he scored! And Burnley have saved themselves in the 3rd minute of stoppage time. It's his 7th goal of the season. But how big and how crucial could that prove to be? Andre Gray has made it 1-1, and Arsenal are complaining. I don't know why. They're complaining, because that was a fair decision. And besides which, Czech was a clear 3 yards off his line before the kick was taken. It did not matter, but Andre Gray, it's 1-1, and do you know what? It's justifiably deserved. And every time you look at that replay, Coquelin has absolutely tripped up Barnes, caught him on the shin. There's no doubt about it, it's a penalty. Wenger is absolutely incensed. I don't understand why he needs to be. He's going across to the 4th official now, and he's getting ridiculous now. Anthony Taylor now, any more of that sunshine, you're going to the stands. And I think Anthony Taylor's sent, Arsene Wenger's been sent off. And he's got no cause to complain about that. Anthony Taylor ushering him down the tunnel. I think John Moss has sent Wenger off here, and Wenger's pushed to the fourth official. You can't do that, and I think the FA will have serious repercussions here for Arsene Wenger, because he'll be charged almost for sure by the FA for pushing. You don't push the officials. Players aren't really supposed to push officials, let alone managers. But Burnley have deservedly got themselves back into this game. And now, Mustafi and Gabriel trying to argue one or two things. They haven't got time now, and a yellow card coming out here for, I don't know who's this for. Is it Mustafi here? I think he's complaining to the linesman. You can't complain to the officials now. Andy Halliday copped an earful there on the far side from Mustafi. Stephen Ward is down there, but Burnley now just 2 minutes away from what could well be a well-deserved point, and Hector Bellerin being told to go away by Ashley Barnes. He's trying to accuse Stephen Ward of wasting time, but Ward is clearly feeling the effects of it. Arsenal do have a throw, however, but we're in the last 2 minutes of time added on, and here's the long throw into the penalty area. Can Burnley just hold out? They brought virtually everybody back now, the 11 men, as the 10 men look to try and win the game. But it's Barnes hooking that away, but only actually hit Coquelin. Here's a chance now for Arsenal. Boyd towards the penalty area, towards Danny Welbeck that time. It'll come for Sanchez, who, to be fair, has been Arsenal's best player. Sanchez gets the shot in, and well saved by Heaton. The ball has gone dead into touch. It's a corner. Tom Heaton wasn't to know that was going wide. He had to keep that out one way or another, come what may. Short corner to Sanchez. Sanchez tries to take on Gray, and Gray keeps on his feet. Now Mustafi, who scored the first goal, back to Sanchez, level towards the back stick, and goes Koscielny, and the referee, oh, he's given a penalty! I don't believe this referee! Oh, now there's a roar, and Burnley players are complaining. They can't believe it. Sean Dyche is absolutely furious. I didn't see anything untoward. Ben Mee was trying to clear the ball. Andy Halliday's given the decision. But was there an hint of offside as well? Oh, really, John Moss? What have you done here, referee? Koscielny is being tended to, but I think he was looking for that. And I think the replays will prove me right. I think he's going to put me. There's the ball in. Now, Ben Mee's trying to clear that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. Koscielny knows that Ben Mee's going to cook that away with his foot, and he's ducked his head in. I'm sorry. I'm not buying that decision, John Moss. And now was the offside. Oh, my word. Looking at that again. He's about 2 yards offside. Andy Halliday, what are you playing at? That is a ridiculous decision from the fourth official, from the linesman on the far side. Not only that, it's a poor penalty decision from Jonathan Moss. And because of those two ridiculous decisions, first to allow the offside to continue, it's Sanchez down the middle, chips it past Heaton, and how cruel! How cruel! It's deja vu for Burnley against Arsenal. They got away with a stupid goal at Turf Moor in the first game when Koscielny blatantly handled the ball into the net to give Arsenal an undeserved lead. An undeserved victory, and now Koscielny has cheated again. First of all, he was 2 yards offside, and then he's conned the referee when Ben Mee was trying to clear the ball away. It's total injustice, and John Moss and Andy Halliday, hang your heads in shame! Ridiculous! And Arsenal have won because the officials did not do their jobs properly. It's a total injustice. If the first penalty to Burnley was a correct decision, then I'm sorry, you cannot give a penalty. His foot was not even 2 feet off the ground. Koscielny knew what he was doing. And the referee has blown. But how cruel! Arsenal have won, but have won in a totally unfair and unsatisfactory manner. If a game is going to be decided on refereeing decisions like that, then I'm sorry, John Moss and Andy Halliday, you need sacking as officials because you were despicable at the end there. And to be fair, John Moss actually got 2 of the big decisions right, and Matt Lawton and Stephen Ward have got every right to complain and argue. If I was a Burnley player, I would be arguing, but Arsenal have got away scot-free. Sanchez scored the penalty. It was a good penalty, to be fair, but it should never, ever have been given in the first place. Burnley have been robbed, and that is the way it is ended here. Oh dear me. And John Moss, hang your head in shame. That decision at the end was appalling, and you need to take a hard look at the mirror, because you're just as bad as what Mike Dean is as a referee. You should not be refereeing these big games anymore. You should be down the job centre tomorrow morning, because that, I have to say at the end, was pathetic. Mustafi had put Arsenal in front, Gray equalised from the penalty spot, Sanchez getting the winner, but Arsenal have won, but have won it in a totally unsatisfactory manner. Burnley have been robbed. Final score, Arsenal 2, Burnley 1, and Burnley will feel hard done by. Well, I'm 24 hours on from that. I'm still angry and disappointed with the referee. John Moss should hang his head in shame. No way was that a penalty. You look at it again, he's about 2-3 yards offside, and I think the penalty is questionable as well. The Arsenal penalty. I think Benme's trying to clear the ball, and Koscielny knows what he's doing, and he's conned the referee and the linesman. And both Andy Halliday and John Moss need to take a good long hard look in the mirror about that decision. But there you go. I'll explain more about that in my other video, which will be on YouTube a bit later on. But let's hear from Sean Dyche and his views on it all. And it's fair to say he should be more agreed to the two managers. And here he is talking with Daz Bentley, a Clarets player, after the match.
Start at the end, I suppose, and what was a crazy game, but a crazy finale. What did you make of the penalty for Arsenal that won it for them?
Yeah, it's amazing and sad both, really, because when you think that happened to us at home as well after a good performance, and I thought generally a good performance today against a very, very good side, to have another point taken away from you in a manner like that from a poor effort, well, poor linesman's decision, both maybe, is very disappointing, particularly for our fans. I thought they were excellent again today, and I saw them in raptures when Andre's penalty goes in, and I certainly wasn't thinking anything other than we'll at least get a point, and I don't think anyone in the stadium was until that decision. And it's unfortunate the linesman, I presume, didn't see it or wasn't strong enough to give it. So,
Hardest boys, everybody's done everything right, and it's a decision that's just not been given.
Well, that's the worst part about it. I've seen it back, and our defenders are actually clearing the box, which they should be doing. And so then you're relying on the officials to do their job properly, and unfortunately they didn't today. So, and even with Ben Mee's challenge, he's looking at the ball. He's got the only, because if you think about it, the mad thing about it is the reason how he gets round him enough for Ben Mee to have to make that challenge is because he's offside, because he's in front of him. So it's a double whammy. But overall, I'm really pleased with the mentality of the performance. I've spoke to the players about the growth in the performances away from home, and I've spoke openly about that. And I think you can see it today. There's a bit more of an assuredness to what we're trying to do away from home, and this is a tough place to come. So I was really pleased with that. But obviously, go away inevitably with feeling a bit sick, really. After a decision like that.
Yeah, when you come to places like this, maybe you need decisions to go your way, but big clubs seem to get them more than little clubs, perhaps.
Well, it's the ongoing debate. I certainly don't want to be one crying it in all the time and over-egging it, but we've had two against this club, and to have two similar things in the last moment, that's bizarre, but what can you do?
Dean Morning, how's Dean? That looks serious.
Wait and see. That's another worrying thing. You don't like to see a player going off on a stretcher, and particularly our players with the honesty they show. So we're hopeful on that. We'll have to wait and see.
But at the end of the day, you take a lot of heart and a lot of pride and a lot of belief from this performance.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's just there's no reward. And we've done this before. We've taken all them things, and slowly but surely the manner we're going about away performances. Early season, I made it clear I didn't think they were good enough, and we didn't get anything. But now we're performing, and then you think, well, okay, we deserve a rub of the green at least. There's still more to come. I like to think we've still got more to come, but days like today, it's hard for everyone to take because it's taken away from you from out of your hands, and we've had a couple of them this season. We can only hope that they pay us back.
Well, that was Sean Dyche there after the match, and terrible. I'm sorry, but the referee was an absolute. Well, I'll touch on it more in my other video later, but I was incensed at the comments when I was commentating on it yesterday. I'm incensed now, around about now. It's difficult to stomach. Arsenal played all right, and you know, I'll touch on these decisions more. But yet again, deja vu for Burnley. That is it from the stream. But thank you very much for listening in, and you know, it can't happen. It beggars belief when referees. Well, Sean Dyche is probably right. Maybe Daz Bentley and Clarets players right. Maybe they favour the big clubs because they're big old Arsenal, big old Manchester United, big old Chelsea. But I'll touch on that later on in another video. But that's it from this stream. I hope very much you've enjoyed it. It's a shame that the game had to be ended on a controversial note. It's twice it's happened against the same opposition, and really the standard of refereeing, I'll leave it at this, is certainly not good enough. Join me again for another Clarets match very shortly in the future. We've got Leicester coming up, and of course there's Bristol City in the FA Cup from me, JB. For now, until later on when I put another video on my view on the referee, because I'm saving my real tirade for that video. But for me, for now, take care. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.